The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
You must surrender to the beat. Have some hope and get up on your feet. Keep your faith in the right direction. Search your soul and gain reflection. Come on, people, do the Buddha boogie with me.
Boy, you guys know when we hear that music, it's Buddha time! That's right. We're stepping up to the front of the line. This is a space where real stories meet real growth. This is where you'll hear from the people who are doing the work, showing up, and finding light in the everyday grind. These aren't headlines. No, these aren't sidelines. These are soulful, down-to-earth conversations with people who inspire change on the front lines of life, recovery, healing, and community. So slow it down, tune it in, and find your own front line because it's Buddha time. And now, here's your host, Tommy Buddha.
Every time you do that, I want to sing the next line. Do the Buddha boogie, do the Buddha. Yeah, and then you put the explosion out there.
I blow it up. We like to blow things up.
You sure do. You know, it's good to be back because we've both been places.
Man, it's good to be back. It's good to be. It's always good to come home. You know, it's always good to come home.
And you were running around in California and Vegas and
doing 12-step workshops at the Salvation Army in Las Vegas, and then the Salvation Army in Stockton, California, and then the Salvation Army in Fresno, California. And you were in Florida, right?
I was in Florida. I went down to see Les Brown. You know Les Brown? Yeah. Les Brown, he's 80 years old. He has this workshop that he has authors that he just put out a book, and everybody that spoke there was in the book. They did like their own books, and they wrote like a chapter. Yeah, and it was amazing. I love Les Brown. I love Les Brown, man. He says what does he say? How does he say it? You're a piece of the master, a masterpiece.
Ooh, I like that.
And I said, oh yeah.
What's going on, Tommy? What are we doing?
Today we are going to we're going to shine a light on someone who's been changing the world one beat at a time. My friend LaFrae Sci. She's a friend and we've worked together. She's a drummer, a composer, an educator. You've performed in over 38 countries.
Yeah.
And you now lead the Willie Mae Rock Camp, which you're a founding member of, right? You were one of the founders?
One of the founders from 2004.
So that's who we got today. And there's a lot of light we want to shine on this particular woman and her organization. Because it's amazing.
That's awesome. I can't wait. That's exciting stuff. Anytime that we can shed some positive life on this whole world, we need to be doing it and step up and do it. And I like the line, step up to the front of the line, because that's what we're doing. We're stepping up and doing it. Well, before we do that, what do we got? You got some stuff for us, right? I got something brand new for you, but you go ahead. What are we doing?
We're not going to do the music first?
Okay, here we go. I did this just for you, buddy.
Useless information.
Here we go.
Grab a friend, bring your cheer. Tommy Buddha's here. Let's have no fear. Don't go away, it's the perfect time. Join the fun, we're in our prime. Useless facts, let's share a few. Mindless information just for you. What's the capital of Australia? Can you say? It's Canberra, surprise. Now let's play. Let's play. Let's play.
play the game?
Where'd you get that?
I'm a producer. I can't help.
You are a producer, man. That is brand new.
That's a brand new one, yeah.
So you know what we're doing, LaFrae. I didn't have the opportunity to share this with you. We do useless and useless information?
Useless and mindless information, yeah.
Mindless,
stuff that will
right.
guarantee to make you feel smarter than you already are.
Yeah. When we're done with this, you will feel like so much more engaged. You'll just know what life is all about. But you know what I did, because I've been, diving into this since we started this together. And last time we were here, it wasn't last week. Last time we were here, I did laws from different areas that were just weird. Today, I decided I'm going to focus a little bit on some information about animals.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But before I did that, where I got my information from, I have this new best friend. I call her Mrs. Jones. It's my chat GPT. Oh. And what I love about Mrs. Jones, me and Mrs. Jones.
I've been just thinking that, man.
We got the thing going on. And I could see, you ever see that movie where the guy fell in love with the computer? It was a woman's voice. Yeah, it was Joaquin Phillips.
Didn't work out too well.
Didn't work out too well for him. But I could see why, because every time I ask Mrs. Jones a question, she goes, "That's a great idea, Tommy." Like, whoa. And then she helps me. So she gave me a bunch today on what I asked for. But before I do this, once I went to Mrs. Jones and I got some fake information and I shared it here, and I found out later it wasn't correct. And I had to go back and say, hey, you can't do that to me.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, I told the whole story. It was not true. But the first thing she gave me, and I don't know if I trust it too much after I heard this, left socks disappear more than right ones in the laundry.
Interesting.
Really?
I didn't know there was a left sock. Is there?
Oh, I actually have socks that have an L and R on them. Workout socks. Yeah.
I think there are once you get used to them, because so my right foot is a little more difficult for me to put socks and shoes on than my left one. So my right one is more stretched out. So I always know that that's my right sock. So yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
I think it's true.
All right. So now you're sticking up for Mrs. Jones. All right. I got you.
She's a sweet lady, isn't
she? She is a sweet lady. You know that turtles can breathe through their butts during hibernation?
I've heard that. So I put on a shell and I went underwater and see what happened, and it didn't work out.
You tried it. I was like, you can breathe through your butt? How do you do that?
I'm getting a background hiss again.
Yeah, I'm getting it again.
Oh, there, it's gone.
It's gone.
Oh,
all right.
That was LaFrae muted. She muted herself. Now she's unmuted. Now it's
all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Ducks sleep with one eye open. I sleep with both eyes open. Yeah, just in case. You never know, right? I live in New York.
You sleep with both eyes? My wife's doctor told her that she doesn't actually close her eyes all the way when she sleeps. I guess it's a thing.
Well, here's something that I can identify with. Squirrels forget where they bury about 70% of their nuts. Now, I want to figure out how they got that answer. How do they know that squirrels forget where they bury?
Where my head was going, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Was there a double entendre in there?
There could be. Maybe it's because they spend 30% of their time looking for their nuts. So.
Okay, I can really run with that one, but I'm going to leave it alone. Goldfish have a memory span of about 3 seconds. Kind of like mine.
When you think about that, going brrr, brrr, brrr,
yeah.
Brrr, by the time they get to one side of the tank, they don't even remember how they got there.
Yeah. Finding Nemo.
Yeah. Yes. That's where they get that.
That's a thing.
Yes. That's the thing. Right? A group of flamingos is called the flamboyants.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. That's the point of this.
Okay.
This is stuff
she's smart. LaFrae's smarter now, see?
I am. No, because I've had this conversation with some friends where we've talked about
how different languages have different groupings for animals. English is the worst, but I was speaking to some friends who spoke French and Russian. They just say group when it's a group of animals. But we have a flock, a murder, a pod, and a flamboyance.
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay.
Flamboyance.
Flamboyance.
Now, here's one that's good for us because I'm a musician, you're a musician. Bees communicate by dancing.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, I think the dance of the bees, the dance of the queen bee or something like that. Oh, the flight of the bumblebee. Oh, no, that's
You're trying to really figure it out, huh?
I'm reaching.
Sea otters hold hands while they sleep so they don't drift apart.
Aw.
That's sweet.
They're cute. Octopuses taste everything they touch. Their arms have taste buds.
Really?
That's right.
I taste everything I touch, too.
But
and sharks existed before trees. Did you know that?
I guess so. Yeah.
They're kind of prehistoric, right?
Yeah.
They're the prehistoric, one of the prehistoric animals that are left.
Yeah.
All right.
I think birds are too.
Okay.
Birds, yeah.
I think that's all I got.
Is that all you got?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for useless and mindless information on Buddha Time, and we'll close out with Tommy's brand new useless and mindless information bumper music. Here we go.
Hey, everybody, don't drift away. Stick around, let's seize the day. It's time to laugh, it's time to play. Tommy Buddha's game will brighten your way. Guess the fact, don't hesitate. Which useless tidbit can you relate? Come on now, what's your guess? Let's dive into this playful mess.
Yeah, buddy. All right. I got some email here not long ago that wondering about more of Tommy's music. So next up is a song called Can't Take My Soul by Mr. Tommy Buddha. Tommy, you want to tell us about this song real quickly?
Well, it's funny. There was a band that I put together called the Real Deal Band, right? Because we were just hanging out together and everything just seemed to flow. And we went and sat with this session, and we were in this club that a friend of mine used to let us rehearse in. And we started playing, and we just played these songs just came together like in that session, 5 songs. And then we went to the studio and recorded them. It was just like one of those magical things that happened. And Can't Take My Soul for me is talking about how no matter what goes on in my life, like you can't budge me away from what I believe and who I am and where I'm at in life. And that's what Can't Take My Soul really is about.
All right. And here it is. Here's Mr. Tommy Buddha.
You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. You can take my freedom. Can't take my soul. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. Throw me in the hole. Can't take my soul. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. No, no, no. Throw me in the hole. You can't take my faith. You can't take my faith. You may rattle it. Can't take my faith. You can't take my faith. You can't take my faith. Fill me full of hate. Can't take my faith. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. take my hope. Oh, no, no, no. Can't take my hope. You can't take my faith. You can't take my faith. Fill me full of hate. Can't take my faith. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. You can't take my heart. You can't take my soul. Throw me in the hole. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, man, I love it. You can't take my soul.
It's rocking.
I get a chill from that song. Good. That guitar player, Eric Haight, I just met him when we did that, and he had this magical thing about him. He wouldn't even look. You know how guitar players, when they're playing a solo,
Yes, sure.
he'd be like this. He never looked at the guitar. He'd just be like feeling it. It was like eerie.
Oh,
But
man.
of
That is awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so all right. To move into this next segment, I'm going to play 3 real short sound clips, and I'm not going to say anything about them except here's the second one, here's the third one, okay? And then we're going to move into it. This is very interesting. Listeners, yeah, enjoy this really quick. Very interesting stuff, and we'll tell you why here in just a second. Here's sound clip number 1. Okay, here's sound clip number 2. And number 3. Okay, why did we play those things? What's this all about? Tommy, take it away, buddy.
I know what it's about, because I remember going through all that with LaFrae when I first met you. You were into the electronic stuff, and you were just really starting to explore it a lot. And like, as I said before, drummer, composer, educator. And then you got into this sound stuff that was completely different. And what brought you to that? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm a multi-hyphenate, and so now I call myself an imaginationist. I feel like that kind of covers all the bases.
What is a multi-hyphenate?
Well, it's like drummer, composer, educator, da-da-da, 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 you know, at this point,
yeah,
my
nice.
career. So instead of doing all that, I'm an imaginationist.
Like it.
So, and I started to really get into producing my own music and doing media composing. And I was working on a computer using Ableton, and I got bored with the MIDI samples. So I started taking a deep dive into analog synthesizers, and I bought a couple of Moogs up front. And, that was sort of the beginning of this world. So actually all 3 of those pieces were on different synthesizers, and I take an electroacoustic approach, again, another hyphen. But so that second track was actual recordings of crickets when I went to visit a friend of mine from the program in Maine at her house. The third had some water that I had recorded, I think from a fountain that my father, who passed away a year and a half ago or so, built in front of our house. And yeah. So
these are not those are not artificially created. These are actually a water feature and real crickets and that kind of thing.
Yeah, those are actually it's a sound collecting practice that a lot of people call field recording.
Okay.
And there was a lot of field recording that has inspired me A lot of people know the work of Alan Lomax, and a lot of that stuff is available in the Library of Congress. During what's her name? Zora Neale Hurston recorded songs, African American songs of North Florida, and those are sort of like my inspiration.
We actually, when we did the song Not Better Together, which is a song we did for Road Recovery, is when you were really doing that. You and Static were going back and forth with that stuff.
I Am Love? Or We Are Love?
No, it was Power of We.
Oh, Power of We. Yeah. Okay.
Power of We.
So that's you.
Right.
That song, Power of We.
We started doing a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and the waveforms are not samples. They are actual waveforms that I built and affected and created to create those tones. And I'll tell a quick story. When it was time for me, because I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and we were teaching, Tommy and I, with Road Recovery in the Bronx. And what I noticed is that when these young men came in, they brought in this kind of aggressive energy from the day. And they would come in just kind of jacked up. And their songs kind of reflected that. And there was one young man, I took a synth with me, and I told him it was a drum machine, but he didn't understand how it was a drum machine because he didn't see the pads to push. And I told him he had to combine waveforms to create each sound of the drum and then put an envelope on it to give it a clicky sound and to tighten the waveform to make it sound more like a drum, like a punch, to give it punch. And I showed him how to do it. And Tommy, I don't remember this young man's name, but he was the kid that was always on the verge. But he sat down and with headphones and listened and created his waveforms on this drum machine. It was Drummer from Another Mother, DFAM by Moog, for like, I want to say almost 30 minutes. And that child had never sat down and done anything. And he was so excited and proud of his waveform combinations. He wanted to save them. And I told him, it's analog, you can't save it. So we had to record it. But that was sort of an aha moment for me about how creating outside of the box kind of has the person creating kind of confront new things and follow the sound, and what a wonderful journey it is.
That's part of what brought to Willie Mae as well. Now they're doing a lot of the electronic stuff, right?
Well, the thing is that Willie Mae is the second rock camp for girls created in the United States. And now there's Rock Camp Zimbabwe. And the original rock camp came out of the Riot Girl movement of the 90s from Portland, Oregon. They've since sunsetted. So now Willie Mae, the second, the New York camp, is the oldest. And it was a 1-week tuition-based summer program with volunteers. And I volunteered for the first 7 years before I started touring so much that I was unavailable. And in 2018, the founding executive director stepped down, and they asked me to consider stepping into leadership. And I said, I have no interest in running a rock fantasy camp. And I was doing other work. And they told me I could change it. And so I said, I'll think about it. And then the pandemic shut the world down. And we were still in that moment of like, oh, it's April, let's see about July gigs. And then the July gigs went down like dominoes. And then we're like, oh, but I got a tour in October. It just month by month, everything just started being canceled. So I went back to Willie Mae and said, hey, I have an idea. I said, I would like to create a tuition-free STEM-based music program. So integrating the math, the science, the engineering, and the technology of building these waveforms with creativity and empowerment. And this is what I've been doing for the last 5 years at Willie Mae Rock Camp for Girls, which, by the way, we are named after Willie Mae Big Mama Thornton. Big Mama Thornton, who is a blues pioneer who co-penned on some level Hound Dog before Elvis. She played drums, keyboard, harmonica, and sang the bejesus out of everything she touched.
Well, we will have listeners. Will have the link to the Willie Mae Rock Camp up on Take 12 Recovery Radio and Buddha Time as well. I got a question for you, if I might. We've done a couple shows now, Tommy, right? That involve people that are working with inner city children and kids and so forth. When it comes to bringing health through music and pulling out some of the talents that some of these kids didn't even know they had, that kind of thing. And the one thing I keep forgetting to ask of our guests and of you is, whenever we talk about certain things that are real in life, sometimes there's a movie or a series or a Lifetime thing or something that tries really hard to bring it to the real world, where people that don't normally see the inner workings of things like Willie Mae, to show people what it's like. One such movie, and this is what my question is this movie anything like the stuff that we've been talking about? And that would be Jack Black's School of Rock. Or is that just so far in left field that we don't even know what we're talking about?
I mean, I think there's some similarities, and I think that's a really great question. It does bring you in the ballpark for sure. I think what Jack Black did, he created a space for the kids to not only learn about music, but to build community and to find their own voice. And he made it really fun. And these are very much principles that we embrace in the work that we do. So in that case, there are definite similarities.
Yeah.
I think the difference would be that we go into particular places. We don't, at least with what we were doing together. We go into places where people don't have any talent. Some of them, or they do, they don't know it.
They don't know it.
And what we do is we try to say, hey, whatever you got is good. Bring it. And then we find this this stuff underneath that I don't think you do in the School of Rock, like as much, especially the way it is now, because School of Rock, there are all these different schools all over the country now, the School of Rock. Right. And they usually have kids that are learning instruments and they're coming in and their parents are paying for it. And it's kind of like, after school stuff. Our stuff was like working with kids that sit down and do something that you'd never thought that they could do, and finding self-esteem and things like that. So it's a combination, though, because we do get kids that are really good at playing.
Yeah, I think what we do that's a little different than School of Rock too is, and what I did with Tommy and our experiences co-teaching in the past, and also in my current position in the work that we do, is that we encourage the students to create their own music. And also, I want to say that one of the underlying things that Tommy and I have in common is that we both are rooted in the blues. And, Willie Dixon said the blues is the roots and everything else is the fruits. And the thing about the blues is it's about, it comes from the African American tradition. It is about sound and intention and feeling. Right? So you can play one note with sound and intention, whereas maybe a traditional academic approach to an instrument would have a student learn a bunch of chords and scales before they would ever consider covering somebody else's song, let alone write their own. So we get a little more to meeting the student where they are.
Does any of this correlate with things like the singing bowls and frequencies and so forth when it comes to human behavior and calmness and dealing with trauma and that kind of thing?
I mean, that's kind of wild. We have an 18-inch singing bowl that is tuned somewhere between C and C sharp, which is actually known as the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is the frequency that the earth resonates at. If you imagine a piano with 88 keys, but going down like maybe 7 more pianos, it's that low. So it's below the level of human hearing, but it is not below the level of human feeling. Think about the fact that we are 70 plus or minus % water. So we vibrate and we resonate. And basically, when they started shooting astronauts into space, the further they got away from Earth, the sicker they got. And this guy Schumann created a Schumann resonator. So the space station and all of these places in space have this frequency being broadcasted that they can feel, so that they can be rooted. And so sound, intention, frequency, waves, being rooted, it's so important to the work that we do. We start all of our classes in our space around an 18-inch singing bowl, and the students either make an intention that will go out with the sound for the day, or they release something that they brought in from their day during this, something may have happened on. So, yeah.
It's amazing stuff.
Man.
Tell me a little bit about your history, where you come from, what got you into music,
Yeah. I grew up, my grandmother was an organist and director of the choir at Mount Pisgah AME Church in Lake City, Florida. I spent all my summers going to church with my grandmother in the morning, and where she would play. And then we would go to an evening, kind of more of an ecstatic tradition kind of church where the music wouldn't stop and people would get like the spirit, and kind of an intense country, kind of Southern African American experience. And then I'm grateful that my parents supported my desire to play music. I got a drum set when I was 4, and I beat holes in it. And my parents said, "Oh, well, I guess you'll just have to practice the piano." So I didn't get another drum set, but I did play piano. I did play flute, and I wasn't a fan of playing other people's songs and doing a lot of practicing, but that's still, I have that background, and I'm grateful for it.
Right. So where did your music take you? Like, you've done a lot of things in your life. When did it start to become an idea to be full time?
Yeah, I didn't do great in school. I was on the trajectory, which is you finish high school and you go to college. I did take a gap year, but I probably needed like a gap decade because I just had a lot to get together personally. And so I was invited to not return. I was put on an academic suspension, and I took a job cleaning a theater. And I was cleaning an office and saw that this particular organization, nonprofit, was hiring a box office assistant. And I used my key, went in and used their computer to do a resume and applied for the position and got the job. And this organization had amazing programming. There was Jay McShann, the Leaders, Shirley Horn, Betty Carter for their jazz series. They had a reggae series, and they also had an Irish music series, and they also hosted the National Folk Festival. So I got a chance to be around such amazing artistry, and that sort of lit my fire to continue and start playing myself.
That's a great story. I love it. I love it.
That is a great story, and that is you. You went in and used their computer.
Yeah.
I can see you going, how am I going to get in here? And that's exactly what you needed to do. And that's a God thing, you got connected right there to the source that brought you where you are today. You're fortunate because having been not invited back, because I've been through that, not being back, I went a different direction. It took me a long time to find the source, so wow, that's amazing. So, now you're doing this music thing. So where did it bring you? What happened after that?
I started doing gigs. I started really getting into my jazz drumming. I loved jazz, the freedom. So I went back to school, and I was inspired to finish because I was studying like what my parents wanted, political theory and economics and East Asian studies, which I liked the East Asian studies, but it was dry. But I went back and pushed through and started playing gigs. And I loved jazz, but the jazz guys were not as forgiving about me being a newbie, but the blues guys were. And they would say, play another and come back next week. And so I started doing like a lot of shows and gigs, and eventually I moved. This was in the Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Detroit area. And then eventually I moved to New York.
Oh, okay. Didn't you live in Japan for a while or something?
My father was a lifer in the Air Force, a retired colonel. And I was born in Okinawa, Japan, where he was stationed. And the type of specialty, he did foreign technology. He was an electrical engineer. We went back and forth between the same two bases, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, and Yokota Air Force Base in Japan. So I lived in Japan a total of 8 years.
Yeah. Okay. Did that influence you in any way?
I think, yeah, because back in Japan's a very interesting place. You can, and I mean, this is my opinion. This is my experience.
Mm.
In my experience, one can know the culture, speak the language, but you never are in the circle of actually being Japanese. And so I actually really loved that space of being an outsider and the freedom that it allowed me because I didn't have to conform. Yeah, I relished it.
You also, I have to bring this up before we get into the Willie Mae stuff. You also went to Siberia in Russia, and you did concerts there with some youth there. Can you just tell us, because that always amazed me. Like, that's when I first met you. You actually went there and came back, and that was amazing. So can you just give us a little bit about that?
I started off doing the American Music Abroad program, which was formerly known as the Jazz Ambassador program. The first jazz ambassadors were like Dave Brubeck, Dizzy Gillespie, and jazz was considered America's sonic secret weapon. Places where the United States government wanted to build goodwill and start doing whatever they wanted to do. They would let the music in before they would do other things. Because they loved, this was like the music, Dizzy Gillespie and Louis Armstrong, So I started touring, and then I ended up in doing a Russia tour. And in Siberia, it was my birthday. And in spite of being incredibly jet lagged, I hung out and I met some people, and I told them that I teach jazz improvisation and African American music history. And they brought me back for a workshop. And then I started writing pieces inspired by a book that everyone kept telling me to read, The Master and Margarita by Bulgakov. And it's a very famous Russian book that was banned, and people used to share a copy, and pass it on. Like it was the secret book that everybody loved. And so I created this orchestral, operatic, and jazz approach. And that first show was sold out before we even announced like the tickets, almost and then they kept bringing me back. And then eventually the State Department wasn't paying me. The Russian government was paying me. And there are people that joke that I'm a spy, but honestly, I got into a great situation where people gave me the freedom to build ensembles, work with a lot of young people, and play amazing shows. And I did that for 7 years.
I think it was the last year when I met you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's when it ended. But that always amazed me, because like I remember seeing you shows, part of the shows, and it was crazy. You're doing what you do. Again, you started talking to people. It was like you found the computer. Oh, I do right. I do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, you're tuning into Buddha Time here at Take 12 Recovery Radio with Tommy Buddha and our very special guest, LaFrae. You pronounce C, right?
Ski.
Yeah.
Yes.
And are you currently the executive director or past executive director of Willie Mae?
I'm currently the executive director of our artistic programming.
Yeah.
So we have STEM-based music program. Can I tell you really quickly, an approach?
Yes.
So, because everyone's like, well, of course music and math are connected, music and science are connected, but nobody teaches it. Music class is music class, and it's an elective, and science and math are separate classes. And then when people want to get kind of heady about it, then they start talking about Pythagoras, And I'm like, whatever, Pythagoras. We had an intergalactic ice cream summit, a social, right? So the kids made vanilla ice cream, right? And then they learned about the science of the temperature and the fact that the physics of ice cream being an emulsion, right? Then my friend, who's a jazz musician and a colleague, Dr. Stefan Alexander, who's the professor of physics at Brown, talked to the girls about the cosmology of ice cream and how it relates to how different patterns of the universe happen. And then he talked about John Coltrane and the theory of relativity, because there's a connection there that he wrote a book on. And then the girls got together in groups and used the electronic instruments and all made their own intergalactic ice cream truck.
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
It all comes together.
Music and everything, ain't that?
Music and everything.
Wow.
Music is in ice cream. I knew it. I knew.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
No wonder I sing so well. So, it really, makes me feel a lot, really good that, it seemed like you started some of this tech stuff when I met you, and then where it is today. And how do you implement it with the kids there? I mean, because it is a different thing. Like, the style of that. Maybe it's more, with kids, it's easier for them. But for me, the combination of the tech sound and all the vibrations and all that stuff into the music, how does that go with kids?
I mean, we serve about 700 girls and gender expansive youth in year-round, tuition-free in 15 partner sites. We have in-school programming and after-school programming and mini camps. And so basically, as much as me as someone that's in the classroom, my job is more about building the organization and doing a lot of the paper side of things, the admin. I have a tremendous team of working artists who also teach for Willie Mae, and we have special convenings and invite guest technicians, scientists to work with them. So it's a win-win-win, because these artists get a chance to develop new skills so that they're able to better mentor our young people, while at the same time being able to integrate these skill-based things into their own creative practices.
It's because it's like, to me, it's just like this whole new thing, right? It's like a whole new genre of its own, and I remember when when you first started doing it, or when, you and Static were talking about it a lot, how, there was different artists and stuff that were doing it, and it's not like, out there, like big time, but it's out there, so then you're getting people that are musically inclined, and now they're adding this tech thing to it. That's, it's a whole different vibe, I guess. That's what I'm assuming.
Which brings me to a question about and I want to get this out there because I want to repeat it at the end of the show too.
Great.
LaFrae, how can people support people say, oh, don't talk about money. Well, I think we need to. How can people financially support Willie Mae and what you're doing?
Well, thank you, because we are definitely in a growth state. And because of some of the things happening right now politically, a lot of people have lost funding. So there's more people vying for the same funding. And so philanthropy is kind of a mess. But I continue to get the word out. Anybody who's interested in becoming a major donor, and we're doing a big campaign for next year, because Willie Mae Thornton would be 100 next year. So we're going to celebrate her all year. But our website has a place where one could donate. And if someone would like to make a larger donation or become a corporate sponsor in any way, my email and our contact is on the website. Please reach out. And we would love to have you join our community. And we are in the process of building the first intergenerational music, science, and tech festival with a year-round wraparound component. And we also have open studio days where anybody from the community can come and build an instrument, or as our scientific method is, mess around and find out.
I like that. What is the
Do the
website?
mess around.
What's the website address?
It's Willie Mae Rock Camp.org. WILLIE, Willie, and May, MAE. Willie Mae Rock Camp.org.
Got it. Okay, we'll make sure that gets put up there. So, folks, Willie Mae Rock Camp.org. I know some of you are listening, would be interested in helping fund this incredible cause. Please, I'd encourage you to do so. Do it today, even today. You can even pause this show where you're at and take care of that as well. Thank you.
Press send. Press send. All right. Well, where do you see Willie Mae in like 5 years? Do you think like that, or do you?
Yeah, we do. We have a 5-year plan and then a 5-year plan. So basically, we launched an alumni fellowship. We made our programs year round. So we're going for a long arc. And here's the thing, like, there's all these different types of gateway experiences for young people, but it's like they get inspired, but how are they really going to follow up? So it's sort of like when you drive, it's better to just put your foot on the gas and leave it there than to like go back and forth. So we have this long arc programming. We have alumni fellowships, and we have a plan to build a workforce development program, which would offer stipends for young people who might have to make a choice between coming and learning skills or having to work an after-school job that they would be able to get a stipend. And so we're building a big, beautiful community.
Wow.
That was the next question about the community of it. Like, are people coming back that you've taught to help? Like, kind of like the paying it forward thing?
Yes. And also, before I even ever thought I was going to be ED of Willie Mae, some of those young people, 2 of them have become alumni fellows, and they've worked within our programs and mentored young people. So it becomes this real beautiful peer-to-peer arc kind of thing where I didn't even see this coming.
You also worked at the Apollo Theater too, right? That's a connection with the Apollo Theater?
I've performed at the Apollo Theater. I've written 3 blues-based shows for them, for young people, and performed there with a band and told the story of like Black women string players of the blues. I did that twice, and then I did another one. And I'm going to do one this spring about a girl who is a sound scientist and an imaginationist.
Sounds like somebody we know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the last question, I think, because we have to do another piece after this. But your own creativity right now, what projects are you working on? Is that the project you're working on, or is there more?
I honestly feel like, as a composer, Willie Mae is very much a piece that I'm working on. It's like the staff is the melody. No, the students are the melody. The staff is the harmony, and the community is the rhythm. So in a way, it is my creative part of what I'm doing creatively. And I'm working on side projects, and I guess I'll get around to releasing something at some point.
Can't wait to hear that either.
Thank you.
You're an amazing talent. I always enjoyed listening to you.
Are we rounding the bend here?
We are rounding the bend.
I need to
right on the bend, actually.
I just want to say that we have a big neon sign that says gratitude, and the students embrace gratitude. I personally embrace gratitude in my life. It's made a shift. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to practice these principles in all my affairs. And Tommy, I don't know if you know this, but I celebrated 10 years of sobriety on October 1st.
What anniversary for you?
Yeah. And I would not, none of this would be happening if I hadn't made that shift in my life. And I'm incredibly grateful. So
what a tremendous gift! That congratulations!
Thank you.
That made my whole night. Yeah, you know what? I was talking to a colleague of mine, and I said it's really difficult to hold on to a resentment and be grateful. She goes, it's impossible. You cannot have an attitude of gratitude and hold on to resentment. Darkness doesn't have fellowship with light when it comes to that. It just doesn't have, and she's right. You just don't. So gratitude, I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, I'm probably going to get this a little wrong. I'm paraphrasing. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that will determine your altitude. So it's not how much you know, man, but it's that grateful heart. And wow, congratulations, LaFrae.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been talking to LaFrae. She's the executive director of the Willie Mae Rock Camp. Please visit the website at williemayrockcamp.org. And it's coming up on the screen right now. It'll be linked up here at Take 12 Recovery Radio and on the Buddha Time webpage as well. Tell me what we got coming up next, my friend.
You're going to do the other song?
Yeah, the one more song.
Yeah, this is a song that's dedicated to a gentleman, Charlie Scott, who was a guitar player that played with me for years, and he was one of the best blues players I knew, or ever played with, and he died on the stage with me. He actually, we were at an event, a fundraiser, and I told you the story yesterday. We were outside, and somebody said, "Oh, I need to take a picture of you guys." And 5 minutes later, he was dead. 10 minutes later, he was dead. He passed out on the stage in the middle of a lead, which I think, to me, was the only way for Charlie to go. Because he was so amazed, such a teacher and such a good human being and an old school guy. So this is a song called One More Song and I'm Going Home.
All right, here it is as we close out, and then I'll return with a closing remark real quick. Here is One More Song with Tommy Buddha. now, one more song, Tommy Buddha. Hey, listen.
Woo!
I just love it. I 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 love it. All righty. Hey, listen, we have got to run. LaFrae, thank you so very much. Folks,
Thank you, guys.
please visit WillieMaeRockCamp.org. Make a donations day. I would implore you to help this great movement, helping so many. Listen, a great thank you to Tommy Buddha. As always, you can check out our past episodes on any of the podcasting platforms at take12radio.com on your internet dial. Until our next broadcast, this is the Montyman along with Tommy Buddha and LaFrae and the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family and Buddha time. We're wishing God's perfect serenity for each and every one of you.
Come on, do the Buddha boogie. Do that Buddha boogie. Do the Buddha boogie. Do that Buddha boogie.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Come on, do the Buddha boogie. Do that Buddha boogie. Do the Buddha boogie. Do that Buddha boogie.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.
Do that Buddha boogie. Come on, come on, come on, come on.